By all laws of city planning, a metropolis with only one single road is a death sentence. It should be a recipe for a gridlock, garbage piles, and total collapse. I think if we can push City Skylines to the absolute limit, we won't just survive, we might actually break the game's logic entirely. So I accepted the challenge, started up the game, and went in to create a new map. Does that say... oh, never mind. I thought the city's name was Armpit Hill. So I think we're actually just gonna make it official. This city's name is gonna be Armpit Hill. Moving on, I figured to create my city with a map that has the most amount of resources. Then we hopped right into a map. Oh my god. That glare is... that glare is too much. I begin to analyze our resources, and behold, our moneymaker. Glorious, glorious farmland, forests, and ore deposits everywhere. Looks like the city is going to be surviving off some farmland though. I finally struck ground by laying the most perfectly built road in all of existence. The one road. The single road. Then I think to myself, did I place this wrong? What if I just screwed up this whole city? No, I would never do that. I am the world's most perfect mayor. In order for this city to survive, we needed to build some services. So we got power, water, and poop. I was heavily debating about using some wind turbines for power, but the output in our area was pretty low, and looking at the cost per month, it was simply too much for our little city. So we decided to create a coal power plant, and we definitely always have to put this by the beginning of the city in case traffic's bad. So this power plant gets placed in the bottom left, and just seeing where the pollution goes, it looks like all the pollution is just blowing right out of our city, so this is perfect. I figured to place other industrial buildings over by the power plant, then we have a barrier of markets, and then people have their nice houses with no bad air, even though it's all just 3 blocks away. I started designing the city in a way to max all profits. Okay, that sounds bad. I mean, give people more jobs that they would really love. How's that? I added multiple wheat, carrot, cotton, and animal farms. I also added some forest farms too. Maximizing all of our farms with all of the resources our little tile has given us will definitely get us far, so we can start improving the city and getting people to move in. Actually, this kind of didn't really work out the way I had planned. While producing more resources, this was simply not helping the city as much as I would hope. I needed to bring in more money, so what did I do? I raised all the taxes. I cut down all of our public services budgets. Electricity, 70%. We're bumping up the service fee charge by 10%. Water, down 70% as well. Service fee increased by 8%. Any higher, that gets the people a little mad. Education, I'll be nice. I'll cut that down to 80%. After the tax increases and budget cuts, we were finally in the green. People were wanting to move in, and the city was expanding. Demand was rising, so now the one road city is getting bigger. I started making more money and decided to expand our tiny tile so we could start mining all of those precious resources. As the city was getting bigger, I was noticing more and more car crashes were happening. I began to wonder why this was, but figured it was something with the drivers being distracted and nothing with the road budget being cut down to 50%, and definitely no road maintenance hub. This would occasionally get traffic backed up, but it was solved as soon as the car accident despawned. You see, that was a joke I made, but now I'm actually convinced 100% that all these accidents are caused by the drivers. What is she doing? Did she just walk into a burning building? What? After a little bit, traffic did actually start to get pretty bad. We had tons of citizens and businesses moving in. Our roads were simply not enough. Now, being the most innovative mayor in the world, I simply could not do the add one more lane trick. This would have completely devastated all the profits earned in the city. So, I built our city's first train station. I figured that most of these cars that were coming in were citizens. So, why not just add a way where they can come in car-free? This idea turned out to be amazing. Our city was growing even more rapidly now, and revenue was coming in like a tsunami. I mean, look at all these people. Absolutely insane. At this point, demand for houses was so high, I was actually getting pretty exhausted. Tons of people were wanting to move in. Then I started to connect sections of the city through parks. I figured placing these parks would cut a day or two off people's walks to their houses. These parks worked out so well, I started implementing them throughout the whole entire city. Our citizens were definitely happy that the city was becoming more connected. After adding that train station, the only traffic there was in the city was the tsunami of people coming in from the trains. I mean, look at this. It was amazing to see the one-road city finally working, being sustainable and thriving. But I couldn't stop there. I wanted to make more money. We've seen the city in debt, then climb to making $100,000 an hour, $200,000 an hour, and finally even $300,000 an hour. So I wanted to see if this city could make $400,000 an hour. I don't know if it can get to that point, but it's worth a try. Maybe this city just crashes and falls. So connecting the city seemed to be a pretty big priority. So we decided to implement a monorail. I believe this is actually going to be pretty tricky to implement into the city. I figured we could easily get a monorail up and working with roundabouts, because they could technically turn on roundabouts, right? Unfortunately, roundabouts were not the answer, because it seems like the monorails need another road to do a loop. I even tried adding the monorail at the very end of the one road, and this didn't even work either. So this idea was scrapped. I then decided to go down the more easy route. We were going to implement bus routes. I know for a fact that those buses can turn with roundabouts, so this was no problem implementing into the city. I ended up adding a lot of the bus stops near the parks and in key places, and boy, did this hit. Everyone wants to use the bus. Some people are even waiting days to ride one. As I was expanding the city even more, an eyesore was catching my attention. Garbage was piling up, and some of these icons were even red. Seems like the garbage trucks weren't even getting to some spots. So I decided to increase the garbage budget and put a brand new incinerator plant in. Hoping this would solve the issue, it didn't even help. The new incinerator plant decided that they weren't gonna do anything, and I basically just built a plant to look pretty. Citizens were getting mad and garbage was piling up. But then I witnessed the game correct itself, and behold, a brand new fleet of garbage trucks started coming out of the incinerator plants. Problem solved. Or at least I thought. I let the trucks do their thing for a bit and still noticed the same exact spots were still needing their garbage taken out, and they were even red still. I began to follow the garbage trucks like a hawk, and it turns out when these garbage trucks got full, they would just despawn. I don't know why. I could tell my citizens were getting angry that their mayor was failing them. So what did I do? I destroyed an innocent part of the neighborhood, of course. This was all to help solve the garbage issue. So I'm sure the people and the businesses affected understand the situation here. From there, I relocated the incinerator plant onto the other side of the city, but still, we were having the same problem. It sucks that the plants wouldn't use all of their garbage trucks, so I figured to relocate the incinerator plant to the middle of the city. But in the end, I felt like this was going to cause even more problems, like pollution. So I simply decided that this wasn't worth my time anymore. I'm sorry, citizens, but you'll have to take out your own trash. I continued to develop and expand the city, and more people kept pouring into their new homes. Then suddenly, I realized we hit the $400,000 an hour mark. This city is making $400,000 an hour. A one-road city. From what seemed like such a rough start, and thinking this one-road city couldn't be achieved, we finally have a city to prove that it's possible to have an amazing one-road city in Cities Skylines 2. And this is even after all the updates that the developers have done to many areas of the game. The city seemed to be flowing just like any other city. The one-road city was a massive success, and I believe we completed the one-road challenge. So to answer my question at the start, the one-road city is definitely possible. Thanks for watching the video. Click the like button if you enjoyed, and even consider subscribing to see what other crazy things I do in Cities Skylines 2, and even in other games too. See ya all in the next video.